Hello online class. Today I'm talking about keywords, and this is very important to find material in databases. Now in Google, sometimes you can just paste this whole sentence into your search box and find things from it because Google automatically takes out words like the and to and problem and of, or the unimportant words. But in these databases, they're going to search for each and every word, and if an article doesn't have each and every word, it won't find it necessarily. So we're going to only boil this down to the most important words as we search. Now, in fact, what are the most important words in here? My thesis is the best solution to the problem of world hunger is to allow genetically engineered wheat to be grown in the U.S. This is a pretty rough thesis, and it might not be my final thesis, but it's a good working thesis to start with. It expresses my idea clearly and in a concrete way, and it's narrow enough to argue. Somebody could argue against it, which is what you want out of a thesis statement if you are still working on yours. World hunger is important in this. The best solution to the problem of, is that important? It might be to the meaning of the thesis, but it's not to actually the topic of what I'm talking about. If I just search for problems, I'm not going to find anything about genetically engineered wheat. So I'm going to cut that out. We're going to put genetically engineered as one. Let's do genetically engineered and wheat as separate perhaps. And grown might be a little bit important, but let's cut that off for now. Okay. So I'm just going to cut this out, and all of those words are super important to what I actually write about in my thesis, but not to what I'm searching for. So let's cut them out. Keywords are made up mostly of experimenting in what you put in the database as is in your search terms. So instead of world hunger, you can put synonyms like hungry, if I spell that right. And you could also put related words like third world, or you can add countries to that. Third world countries. You can spell out third. I would try it all. It's all up for games, and because different articles would spell things in different ways. If there's an alternate spelling, try both spellings. Now, genetically engineered, this has a few more search terms possible. GMOs is one. Maybe you want to spell that out. Maybe you want to try it with dots or little periods between GMO. And what does that stand for? Genetically modified organisms. So and obviously, see how I'm misspelling all over the place? You don't want to type that into your search box like that. If I did, see, I spell checked it here. If I did, I would not find any sources. And sometimes students do, and they say, oh, I can't find anything on my topic. Well, it could be that you've misspelled something. So genetically modified organisms instead of genetically engineered. I could use any of these. Wheat, instead of wheat, I might try something like grains. I might look up things on corn. I might look up at, maybe some people are into gluten. Wheat has gluten. I don't know. U.S., I'm going to try a couple. USA, I'm going to try United States. America, I'll try North America, I'll try a lot of different synonyms. But here when we have all these search terms, we're going to swap them out and combine them in different ways. You do not need to have one from each. If you did, you'd probably have a paper very similar to yours, which can be useful but is not necessary. You might want to say something like search for third world GMOs, or you might want to search for USA genetically modified organisms, and then combine that with USA GMOs and US GMOs. This might give you more information. That kind of combination would give you more information about what the United States laws and regulations are in regards to GMOs, which is going to be very useful in this thesis. Whereas the relationship between world hunger and GMOs would be most prevalent here when you combine these two. It's pretty instinctual, but I want you to really think about expanding and relating. One other thing that we could do besides just writing synonyms and related words, look up related concepts and company names and examples that might be more prevalent. So Monsanto is a company, a company that uses GMOs that has recently been in the news. So I'm going to look them up. Also, now, these are just things that I know about GMOs, and I'm not very knowledgeable in GMOs, not at all. So instead, you might also look up, this is one thing that Wikipedia is actually very good for. It's very good for giving us the ideas about what sorts of words are most commonly used to describe a certain topic. So, and I don't want you saying that, oh, well, Professor Leonard told us to use Wikipedia and cite it 20 times in my paper. No, don't. Wikipedia isn't a good source to cite, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it is a great source to get a little primer on what terms could be used, because they use very common terms. So I might, instead of GMOs, use genetic. This one actually has a really good explanation. More specifically, type of GMO is transgenic organism. So I might use this as a search term, transgenic organism, instead of GMOs. Maybe there's a whole paper on transgenic organisms, and it doesn't mention the word GMO once, or it doesn't very much. And that I would have missed it without that phrase. So this gives us a little bit more search terms. We can have things about Aqua Advantage salmon. Maybe I'm interested in that. Okay, so here's the bottom line. You want many different search terms. You want to combine them in different ways. Next video is going to be about applying those search terms to the library database.